Google I/O 2026 sold Gemini Nano as the small business win of the year. Free, on-device, private, perfect for SMB tools. I wired it into a live invoicing pipeline and ran 340 real invoices through it. It fell apart at invoice number 12. If you run a small ops tool and you're about to rip out your hosted model because I all told you to, watch this first. Every recap I've seen quotes the keynote. Nobody ran the batch. I did on the same Pixel 8 Pro Google demoed with, here's exactly what broke, and the one rule I use now to decide which model goes where. So here's what Google actually announced. Gemini Nano on-device shipped inside Chrome and Android as a first-class developer surface. The pitch on stage was clean. Zero API cost. Data never leaves the device. Perfect for small business tools that can't afford OpenAI scale bills. They even called out invoicing, document scanning, and email drafting as the poster child use cases. On paper, it's exactly the kind of update a solopreneur should care about. In practice, it's more complicated, and the recap videos aren't telling you the second half. I run a live OCR pipeline for a small invoicing tool. Serbian invoices, mixed layouts, some scanned, some PDF, some phone photos. The current backend is a hosted Llama 3.18b on Groq. It costs roughly 0.13% per invoice and returns in under a second. After the I/O keynote, I did the obvious thing. I wired Gemini Nano into the same pipeline, same prompt, same 340 invoices, and ran them side by side on a Pixel 8 Pro, the exact device Google used in their demo. Here are the numbers. Gemini Nano on-device averaged 4.2 seconds per invoice. Zero API cost, which is the headline everyone repeats. Groq hosted averaged 0.8 seconds per invoice at 0.01013 each. On a single invoice, that's not a dramatic gap. On the batch of 340, it is. Groq finished the full run in 4.5 minutes. Gemini Nano took 41 minutes, and that's only because I let it cool down. The phone started thermal throttling at invoice number 11. Throughput dropped by roughly a third after that, and by invoice 40, the device was too hot to hold. If I'd run the batch without pauses, the numbers would have been worse. So the free and private story is real, but it's a single request story. The moment you batch anything, the unit economics flip. You're not paying in dollars. You're paying in wall clock time and hardware wear. For a small business owner, that means a nightly invoice run that used to finish before you brewed coffee now takes most of the morning on a device you can't use for anything else while it's cooking. Here's where Nano genuinely does win, and I want to be fair to it. Interactive, single-shot work inside a browser tab or a mobile app is exactly its lane. A customer pastes one invoice into a Chrome extension, Nano reads it, done. No network round trip, no API key to leak, no per token bill. Same story for a quick email draft, a one-off summary, a form autofill. For those flows, on-device is genuinely better than hosted, and I'll be moving some interactive features over. But anything batch, invoicing runs, lead enrichment, email triage across a full inbox, overnight report generation, stays on a hosted model. Not because hosted is trendy, because it's 10 times faster and the cost is a rounding error at SMB volume. 13 cents to process 1,000 invoices is not the problem your business has. So the rule I'm using now, and this is the actual I/O 2026 takeaway nobody said out loud. On device for interactive. Hosted for batch. Never mix them in the same pipeline unless you've measured both. If a recap video tells you Nano replaces your backend, they haven't run the batch. One practical thing you can do this week. Take whichever repetitive task eats the most of your time. Invoicing, simple question. Is this triggered by a human clicking, or does it run on a schedule against a queue? If it's a human clicking, Nano or any on-device model is worth testing. If it's a queue, stay hosted and spend your budget on a better prompt and better error handling instead. That one classification will save you weeks of chasing the wrong architecture. My hot take. If you want to see what a proper batch plus interactive automation stack looks like for a small business, real examples of what we ship for clients are on BizflowAI.io. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next benchmark breakdown finds you when I post it. And if you've got a workflow you're tired of babysitting, book a free 30-minute discovery call at BizflowAI.io. We'll tell you straight whether on-device, hosted, or a hybrid is the right call for your actual numbers.